If you're running an agency, the likelihood is that you are unable to scale because you are the bottleneck in your business. You can't take extensive amounts of time off. You can't make more money because the business is stuck and tied to you and your time. This is the most common reason why businesses don't scale. Founders don't build the business to operate without them. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step process on how you can build an agency that will be automated to grow and scale without needing your time. The result of this will be enabling you to live the dream and exit what I call agency prison. We've currently worked with over 500 agencies, helping our clients hire over 1,000 employees, helping our clients earn hundreds of millions of dollars. Everything I tell you is something I do myself. The first thing that you need to do is get an employee. My first hire was a part-time consultant that enabled me to start bringing on clients and start giving them to him. I did have to train him for a period of 6 to 12 months, but eventually this enabled me to get so much of my time back. You will have to probably spend a lot of time training this person because they're most likely going to be junior and you can't afford top talent. The second step is building the workflow. So now that you have this employee hired, you need to map out every step from the second they onboard to the second that they've stayed for a full year. There's 2 specific segments you need to map out. The first one is your onboarding process, which is roughly about 60 to 90 days for most agencies. And the second one is your loop process. I define the loop process as that period of time when you continue to do the same task over and over and over. If you're running a paid media agency, you're probably doing optimizations, split testing, and you're meeting budget spend. You're doing the same thing every time. Now, once you have your initial steps of your workflow, you need to map out who the owner is of each step. And this might take some forecasting because if you are the owner doing everything, if you're doing sales, marketing, admin, onboarding, account management, project management, strategy, you need to forecast maybe 6, 12, 18, 24 months out to see what roles will be in that. Outside of owner, you need to have a column for SOPs and trainings. You need to have a column for communication owner and the software implications, right? If you're using a project management software, a CRM, or a specific tool, who is using that tool and what is the tool? Once you have your workflow mapped out, you need to start building your SOPs. If you don't know what an SOP is a standard operating procedure. It's basically a task that shows you how to do a function. And an SOP should be simple enough that a child should be able to follow your directions. If you do not have a process that a child can follow, you probably need to build what's called a training. Trainings teach people how to think. This will take 3, 6, or 12 months to do. It takes a long time, but once you do it, you will have your internal Wikipedia. Once you have all of your SOPs, you need to start building your org chart. A lot of people think your org chart shows who reports to whom. It's actually really wrong. Your org chart is most effective when it demonstrates which role is responsible for which goals and which KPIs. When this happens, it's very clear to define success versus failure. When you are going to start scaling your business, you need to be able to hold people accountable and you need to be able to quantify daily and weekly actions to be able to track through project management. If you have this in your org chart, this will lead to step number 5, which is what I just said. Project management is the process of tracking daily, weekly, and monthly tasks to ensure that we are executing for our clients. You should be able to take your workflow and put templatization and templatized processes in your project management. So when you sign a new client, you should be able to have a copy and paste model for onboarding and monthly execution. When you have templatized workflows and templatized project management, you could enable auditing in your business. The number one thing that I did when I was in Europe in 2022 was I would wake up in the middle of the night or early next morning and I would check, did my team execute? Effective project management templates enable you to do that. Number 6 is Standardware Checklist. You need to have an end-of-day report that will allow you to check if your team executes. What this enables you to do is it raises the standard of accountability because your team is going to submit their work physically or have an automated report that just raises visibility on their work. Most agencies and businesses don't have this because they fear this is micromanagement. And what this actually does, it empowers trust in your team and gives you visibility and make sure they execute. If they miss, you'll be able to catch it and provide feedback the next day. Once you have number 6 set up, it's time to start hiring. You probably have the foundation of your operation and you're ready to start sourcing talent. When it comes to hiring, the number 1 place I recommend is LinkedIn and Indeed. If you need help with hiring talent, subscribe to my channel. I will be making a video on how to hire talent. You won't want to miss that. Number 8 in this process is what I call the ops meeting. Once you have your project management and you have visibility into daily execution, you need to have a process where your team reports out to you. Hold a weekly or daily operations meeting where they go over their accounts that they're managing, the targeted performance versus what's actually happening, and on top of that, if they execute on project management. Having this daily and weekly meeting will just easily raise their visibility visibility and accountability. Number 9 is an auditing and feedback process. As a leader, the number one thing that you need to do is enable growth for your team members. If your team members can improve and get better at their roles, you can take time off knowing that they are already performing. What I recommend is identifying a KPI for yourself, maybe as an audit once or twice a week of a specific task. For me, I'll watch one video a week of my sales team, and that's my KPI. So when I take time off, I've already audited and I've given so much feedback, and I've been ensuring that they're getting better at their role. Number 10, now at this part of the process, you have a significant amount of foundation set in your business. It's time to start actually dialing in your back-end operations. I recommend hiring an operator / an integrator, and this doesn't have to be a COO at first, but it could be someone that will either take over your full operation or really dial in your back end. So your back end could be all administration, all technology, all integrations, all client onboarding, all client communication. If you could have someone that's extremely technical and can manage your people operation, you can fully step out, which will enable you to do number 11, which is stress test. Stress testing is a concept that I took from Amazon, where you basically test the operation to see what will break. At Amazon, before peak season, before holiday season, December and November, we would bring in a significant amount of volume to see where our breaking points were. When we did this, we were able to fix the problems before we actually had to perform. What you want to do in your business is take time off and tell your team to aggregate what is actually broken, what's missing, what gets fucked up. And when they do this, when you return, you'll be able to review that. In a meeting, you could then improve them before your next stress test. The final step in this full process is to take off. Leave your operation for a full month and see how your team executes. If you've gotten this far, if you have listened to this full video, like the video and subscribe to my channel, where you can get access to best-in-class operational trainings and knowledge so you can grow your business and streamline your way to 8 figures this year. If you need help scaling your business, go to the comments below and feel free to book a call where we will help you set up your operation so you can grow and scale without needing to be stuck in your operation this year.